Welcome, everybody, to Talk About Podcast. Even though this ain't the podcast, this is the first episode of Talk About That. You guys can follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, and subscribe here on YouTube. Obviously, I'm with Riley. We also announced this before. We announced that we were going to be doing the Talk About That. If you missed it, if you didn't hear it on Instagram, or if you didn't hear it in the last podcast, we have a new schedule happening for the Talk About Podcast. Every Monday is the Talk About Podcast. Every Thursday is going to be our Talk About Gameplay, and every other Friday will be the Talk About That, where we have a bunch of different guests on, where we talk about a bunch of different things to start to grow the brand a little bit. The first guest, my mom, the biggest Eagles fan in the whole entire world. Obviously, the Eagles will be in the Super Bowl going head-to-head with the Chiefs, so we're obviously going to be talking about that. So yeah, I think we should start off by talking about the NFC and the AFC Championship weekend. So let's start with the first game. It was obviously the San Francisco 49ers playing in Philadelphia against the Eagles.
Total domination.
Total domination. What did you think about it, Mom? In the beginning, when you saw Brock Purdy get hurt, did you think he was going to come back in the game?
I don't really think I thought he was going to come in. I mean, I thought he was injured, and then when they took a different look at it, then I was like, oh,
yeah,
I wasn't sure, but I mean, definitely odd, definitely something changed. I mean, right from the get-go, it was
changed the whole
definitely changed the game.
The whole game when freaking Josh Johnson, who has played on every team in the NFL,
and then he got hurt.
Yeah,
concussion.
But to not have
Kyle Shanahan, their coach, was getting
but
sued
not
up.
have anybody to think about. I guess they had. I mean, to not think of maybe a scenario, something like that, especially with our defense, it could happen, And
how many quarterbacks are you going to sign? Just because Trey Lance got hurt in the beginning of the year.
It just seemed like
Lance, Garoppolo.
But it didn't seem like Johnson was ready, like even thinking about going in.
Of course
he
not.
was not ready.
Obviously, they're probably like, well, we're 3 quarterbacks down already. Why are we going to get hurt again? And then he gets hurt.
Yeah, concussion.
Right, which is crazy. But I think if you're going to the NFC division round
championship,
then I think you need to think about all these
scenarios.
Some of those scenarios.
And McCaffrey was
they even
suiting
said,
up for a quarterback.
I know, he's starting
which is probably their best bet.
Yeah.
Well, Purdy can throw.
He just handed it off
and
the
then
whole
they
game.
said
had 2 passes and they were
sudden,
like a yard and a half.
It was so predictable.
All of a sudden, Jimmy G, who they were saying could have been ready possibly for the Super Bowl, could have been maybe even dressed, which now all of a sudden becomes a big thing. But whatever. So that's how the game went.
Well, things started to kick into the gear at the end of the second quarter. It was 7-0 for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Then Purdy gets hurt. Then the Eagles were struggling to get anything going.
Yeah.
And then the 49ers scored.
Yep. Then it was 7-7.
20-yard
touchdown. Exactly. Broke freaking 3 different. He is an animal. And then the thing is that then it started. Then they started to put on the pace. It wasn't even like they were starting to put on the pace. It was more like they had nothing they could do, the 49ers, to stop the Eagles at that point. After you lose your quarterback or after you're already hurt, I mean, you get to a point where
and the Eagles running
the mercy
backs,
rule
Gainwell popped off.
Oh, yeah, Gainwell's playing good. For sure. Yeah, Sanders went off. Boston Scott had a touchdown. Jalen Hurts had a touchdown. So, yeah. But, yeah, it became total domination. But it wasn't for the first while. I mean, when we were watching it, Mom was shitting her pants half the game.
We're still playing supposedly the number 1 defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say
got
supposedly.
Hurt, the first
play of the game. And then freaking, what's his face? Joey Bosa.
Oh, he got hurt.
He was freaking limping around too. Had blood all over his pants.
And Nick Bosa?
Nick Bosa. Joey Bosa.
You saw Joey Bosa.
Yeah, Joey Bosa.
Yeah,
did you see that? Mom? Didn't have an answer. Johnson didn't have an answer. He goes out with a concussion protocol, and the final score was what, 31-7, I believe. So the Eagles move on to the Super Bowl.
You got to think about 2 playoff games with that type of score.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like 23-20.
Yeah.
We're talking about pulling away. I mean, I think there's statistics that say
jabby jab.
That was super cool that we scored a lot.
Well, how about we segue to that? We talk about the 23-20 score. Obviously, Riley is a Cincinnati Bengals fan, and that game didn't go too well. Riley, what do you think about the game?
It was rigged. The refereeing stuff at the end of the game, there was 5 calls that was supposed to be called, and it never happened.
No. Yeah, it was one of the worst ref games I've seen.
Got pushed in the back.
Yeah, blocking the bag.
we would have got our next first down. The sack on the 3rd and 9 at the last play. What's his name? Jones. He face masked our lineman to get that sack.
Yeah.
Wasn't called.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of mistakes made that the Bengals obviously made too, with interceptions. Also, the pushing Mahomes out of bounds that ultimately led to the field goal.
End like that, though.
No, of course not.
I didn't want to end the game by a penalty.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how it ended. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
But I think letting them have them run back, before that, and I felt bad for the player. He played a good game, and when you're running in that force.
And he hurt himself.
And he hurt himself, and he wanted to see if he can keep him in balance. He would have ran. He could have ran.
I think he tripped, and that's what happened. He tried to steady himself.
I mean, it wasn't like the push of the century, but it definitely was.
I mean, I guess he just
he pushed him
out it a little bit.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Obviously, but it was a fair call, though. I think
it was a fair.
It was a fair call.
What about
bad
all
mistake.
The other
right.
I agree. I mean, as a Bengals fan, you're obviously going to think about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bring the mic. If you lean back, bring the mic closer to you.
Yeah. I hope the Eagles totally dominate the Chiefs.
Yeah, obviously. I mean,
I don't like the Chiefs whatsoever.
Did you see that thing I sent to our group chat? And
no,
I said,
I meant to look at it.
Oh, so it basically was the Warriors won in 2017 the championship. The Houston Astros won the championship in 2017, and the Eagles won in 2017. In 2022, the Warriors won this year. The Astros won, so now it would be the same as 2017 if the Eagles won. Well, I mean, not that it really matters.
Well,
but
history's on your side.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the game. I mean, the Super Bowl set now. Yes, the Bengals lost. The Chiefs are in. It seems like Mahomes is okay. I mean, yes, he has a little bit of his injury, but
he played fine.
He played fine.
Normal.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean,
Except
a couple limps here and there. Yeah. But let's talk about this game. Obviously, it's the two best quarterbacks in the league right now. Obviously, I mean, they're the only quarterbacks left in the league. But they're both in the MVP race. So I think
we have a challenge, but if we beat them, then all credit's going to go to the Eagles. We're going to end up beating the MVP of the year.
Everybody's saying. So that's what I want to ask. I want to ask
coach. So
I'm going to ask the question to an Eagles fan, to a Bengals fan, and then I'm going to answer it myself. What were you going to say, Riley? And then I'll ask this question.
I was just going to say, Mahomes, I beat the Bengals by having no wide receivers.
That is true too, and that's good. That's a surprise, Mr. Bias.
He didn't score after.
Look, here's the deal. I think, and let's just get this out of the way. Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If Joe Burrow would have beat Mahomes for a fourth time, he would have been the best quarterback in the league. But it doesn't even really matter. He's cemented himself most certainly top 3 in the AFC.
Well, it wasn't.
I think he's debatably number 2. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, you can.
The one pick was, but the other pick was
deflection or something.
Third down deflection hit the guy.
Down, it was going to be a punt anyway.
So let me ask you this question. Let me first start with this.
That Chase catch was
Jalen Hurts. Yeah, that was a great catch.
And T. Higgins.
And the T. Higgins one was even better. That's when Kaylee's dad was like, "Dude, what a catch!" I was like, "Wow, I was probably freaking jumping up and down." Let me ask you this question.
Thought we were gonna win.
Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to read you their stats real quick. You tell me who you think should be the MVP this year. So Jalen Hurts had 3,701 yards, 10th in the NFL passing yards. He had 22 touchdowns, which was 14th NFL. He had a 66.3 QB rating, which is 4th in the NFL, and he had 6 interceptions on the year, which is tied for 4th. Obviously, the big stat for him that he also had is he had 760 yards rushing this year.
Isn't it the most? I think just it announced like.
Well, I don't know, not the most, and it was the most rushing yards ever. I think. What was it? It wasn't just Jalen Hurts alone, though. Justin Fields got the most rushing yards ever. And he had 13 rushing touchdowns this year. So there's a lot of things to factor in. Now, if you look at Mahomes' side, obviously not as strong on the rushing end, but when it comes to the passing end, he was first in the NFL with 5,250 yards passing this year. Jesus. 41 touchdowns thrown this year, first again. He had 12 interceptions, which was tied for 26. So that's where Hurts beats him. And then he was first in the NFL with QB rating at 77.5.
I think
who do you believe should be
non-biased now.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I would say, I don't know, Mahomes has an edge because Hurts missed 2 games.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you look at the most valuable player, you could say, who's the most valuable teammate to the team? As soon as you pull out, Jalen Hurts missed those 2 games. Obviously, that changed everything.
Right, but if you're going to say
but you have to look at they're looking at who's playing the whole time, and then that's why Patrick Mahomes.
Right, but if you're going to say
Mahomes had no wide receivers.
That's what I'm going to say. If you're going to use that question, who's more valuable to the team? I agree. When you take Jalen Hurts out, the Eagles go freaking to the worst team in the league. But what happens if you take Patrick Mahomes out? Who do they have? Honestly, and we're going to get into going from quarterback against quarterback, running back, and the running back. But listen, their defense is not very good. So if you put Jimmy John Jay, what's his face, in at backup quarterback for Mahomes, they have no receivers, like Riley's saying. Minshew, when he came in, he didn't perform well, but he at least has a very good chance of performing well when you have Boston Scott, Gainwell, and Miles Sanders as your running back. You have A.J. Brown, who had the best year of his career this year. You have Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You have all these guys.
Yeah. Who would play better, Mahomes at Philly or Jalen Hurts at Kansas City right now?
Yeah, probably Mahomes in Philly would go crazy.
He has
even more crazy.
He has way better weapons.
Here's what I think also, and I'll let you speak, Mom, is this. All that being said, Jalen Hurts has had no respect this year. Zero respect.
Yeah.
Team went from a nothing team last year to the best team in the league with the best record other than the Chiefs. Probably would have had the best record if he stayed healthy. And I don't feel like he's getting enough credit this year.
Go, like in his second year, go to the Super Bowl?
Mahomes has been to this is his 3rd Super Bowl, and he has 5 AFC championship. I think he did go to the least
second year.
I think he did.
Starting
first year he missed the playoffs completely. Second year I think he did go to the Super Bowl, or he at least went to the AFC championship. He's been to the AFC championship 5 times, and I think in 7 years, and he's been to the Super Bowl 3 times.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why it's going to be an impressive win if we can pull it off. Then there's nobody could say anything. We're the best team in the NFL, and I think we're the healthiest right now. We're going to have 22. Everybody's healthy. Bringing everybody there,
and your team's better,
and we have more ways to win. We have more ways to win. So if we don't do it, Jalen isn't throwing it in the air. We have in our offense and defensive line, and like you said, we have the weapons around us. So we just have to play the way we've been playing, and to not get too ahead of it, like not think of the big game situation, because Patrick Mahomes obviously has the experience, but our quarterback has been so poised all.
Bring the mic closer to you if you move it that way.
So
and their Chiefs cornerback got hurt too.
Just this last game, right?
Yeah.
Cobb? No, I don't know.
All the Kansas City Chiefs got is Mahomes, Jones.
Oh, you're talking about the overall.
Supposedly, they said today they do have a decent offensive line, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing: Mahomes never gets sacked. I never seen.
Philly defensive line is just so good.
Oh yeah, I mean
they're gonna get to Mahomes.
They're gonna have some problems.
Mahomes' ankle is somewhat hurt.
Yeah, so. And so hold on, let's break this down. Let's not get too carried away.
4 or 5 weeks.
Quite yet, because I don't want to skip over this. Let's break this down. So we're gonna go matchup to matchup. We have Jalen Hurts against Patrick Mahomes. We're not talking about overall. We're not talking about how he did back in 2016. We're talking about right now. Right. Are you picking Mahomes right now, or are you picking Jalen Hurts? Mom, let's start with you. It's just the question. Which quarterback would you choose that you would want to lead your team into the Super Bowl? That's the question. Okay. Mom, let's start with you.
I'm going to say Jalen Hurts because I think he's been poised.
Of course.
I think he's not, I think he has something to prove. I think like you said, he's been underrated.
Yeah,
and I
think 100% underrated
go out
this
there,
year.
And I think he is a leader. He's shown that. He's got a full gamut of players surrounding him, and they all truly are playing for each other. And I think this is a special year. So I'm going to, of course, go with
Jalen Hurts. Riley, are you going with Mahomes? Okay, why would you go with Patrick Mahomes?
I just think he has more. He went to the Super Bowl more
experience,
and I just think he might be a better QB.
Yeah, I mean, I think
right now.
I think overall definitely, but I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts because Mahomes is hurt. He's still playing fantastic. He's still so good. But like, if I want a quarterback, I'm picking Jalen Hurts. But
He's hungry.
But let me also say this: if we're going by the last game they both had, I think Mahomes did better. Hurts was having a lot of trouble in the beginning of the game getting anything going.
Yeah.
Then they started to get the run game implemented. Gainwell started to go
that
well.
Too, but I think everybody looks at that, the individual part of it. But then if you don't have to have that. Like you said, if Mahomes needed to win the game and come down at the end and then win by that score, then obviously he did something with his legs, which he hobbled down the thing. We've seen that a little bit with Jalen Hurts. We know he can do that if given the opportunity to. Want that?
I mean, and also as a defense, how great is that? We went in there and we took both of their quarterbacks out. I mean, literally.
And then
one was freaking sleeping with his elbow. But then it's like, no. The other one was like, boo-boo on that.
What happens if Mahomes is on the game on the line and Jalen Hurts on the game on the line?
Which quarterback are you going with?
Who would go for a touchdown?
Who has more of a chance, you're saying? Yeah. I'd pick Mahomes in that situation. Just, again, Mahomes has gone down the field in 13 seconds to get points. But I just think, like I said, right now, this year, I'm picking Jalen Hurts. But if we go off NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game, it's kind of hard to pick Hurts after his performance. I think Mahomes actually played better in the game. I just think the Eagles defense showed up, and they were having some trouble. If it's a
pizza pie, and you have Mahomes, who's played the whole 80% of the pizza is Mahomes' talent, and then you have our pie, and maybe Hurts didn't show. He didn't have to do all that. He had the team around him contribute to the whole game. And that was when you watch the highlights. Like you said, I would have loved him to throw in a pass or completed it to Brown and show in the air. But the way this game was designed with San Francisco, we weren't able to do that.
They just wanted to play it safe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's what we were given, the cards we were given. And
also,
and
when you're up 21-7 in the court, you don't need to do anything.
So that's why it's a criticism.
No, but I'm not criticizing from the 21-7 point on into the game. I'm criticizing it from when it was 7-7. If Purdy's in or out, it doesn't affect the Eagles' offense. That affects the 49ers' offense. It doesn't affect the Eagles' offense. That's why I believe.
Then we kept saying to ourselves, well, that's why they have the number one defense, I guess. Right? We have to keep remembering we're playing a top team, supposedly. Coming in, they're not.
I personally felt that was the Super Bowl. Those are the two. I really did believe the Eagles and the 49ers were the two best teams in the NFL. I think that the Bengals were on a roll, and I think the Chiefs have injuries. But I've said all year, I feel like that the AFC's had a lot of hiccups and things. If you look at the beginning of the year, the Bengals struggled in the beginning of the year. They had no O-line.
2 losses.
You guys were like 3-4 in the beginning of the year, and then you guys have been on a reign.
Burrow's surgery,
I guess. But then you have no O-line in the playoffs.
No, he did. Season?
He did, but he had a surgery back in 1888. That talks about
and his O-line just got new O-line.
That's my point.
Get together,
right? So that's my point.
At the end of
they played good together, but like. Who you picking, really? The Eagles or the Bengals when the Eagles have no O-line?
And go back into the
Super Bowl.
That's
it's already remarkable to go back to the AFC Championship game. I'm not saying they have a bad season, but my point is the 49ers were on a tear. They were on a tear. And they were beating teams up bad.
And here's the thing with them. They've been doing this over and over again and never getting to the big game.
Yeah.
So something is happening with their coaching in those moments. I mean, they weren't disciplined. They fell apart.
Yeah, they fell. What you're talking about in that game?
In this game,
but you have no quarterback. They had no quarterback.
But why do they have no quarterback?
I completely agree. They had no quarterback because the Eagles took him out.
They want to say
no. I don't think they would have won if Purdy was in. I'm not saying that.
I think he could. That was one of the biggest tests to see.
Yeah.
If he up against
the Eagles showed up. Right. They went in and they took out both their quarterbacks. That's what you're going to ask.
You deserve that credit.
Of course, you're going to ask that from a team.
I think, anyways, Purdy was going to have a hiccup.
Oh yeah.
He was having a hiccup in Dallas when they played Dallas the week before.
Dallas has a good defense.
Dallas is dirt.
Well, they can never figure it out, but they had a good defense.
In the playoffs,
they can never figure it out.
Smith. What's his name?
Irv Smith?
Stephen Smith.
Oh yeah,
Stephen A.
Jesus,
Smith.
freaking wake up.
How about the Cowboys?
Yeah, he'll
But
wake you
now
up.
they're saying Stephen A.
Scream
Smith
at
is
him,
now
Jim.
saying who has
Habib, where is he now?
here's the thing too.
Remember that interview?
Who has the
Yeah.
Eagles really played? They're playing that game. Now we're number 1. And the other thing is we're playing who we're given. So
Of course.
So if
It's
Aaron
something-
Rodgers
this
is
is what I've
having
been
a
saying.
crappy year this year,
Oh, what?
we didn't have Tom Brady. Look at Tom Brady, the GOAT, and he didn't make it. So if
He's like 50.
you're not going to like come up with these combinations of teams to prove. But we've taken the challenge and we
You've
survived,
taken it on.
and now we're in the
That's
Super
what I've been
Bowl.
saying all
And
year.
if we win the Super Bowl, not only that, it's rare to have a team who is making it back to the Super Bowl with a new coach and a new quarterback.
Yeah.
We did it with this is a different coach and a different quarterback in 5 years. That's a huge thing. That has only happened one other time that I think with
is true.
the Raiders, to have Coach Peterson and Nick Foles backup quarterback,
really.
and then now have a whole new coach, brand new coach
With Jalen Hurts.
With Jalen Hurts, that's
Of course, and
unbelievable.
I think
so
just
the
as-
organization, Howie Roseman, how he like what he did with his picks and everything is remarkable.
Yeah,
So
now, at this
hopefully-
point.
I think that who would have a better fight against the Eagles, the Bengals or the Chiefs right now? I think the Bengals would.
Okay, so hold on. Let's talk about
That
this.
could happen.
So let's get to the point. Holy
Bengals
smokes, we got the freaking mayor of Philadelphia and Cincinnati's like not letting me get to the point.
Well, we don't want to talk
So
about the
let's-
mayor of
Well, you're-
Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, apparently let's talk about it.
He's
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, what did he do? I don't
like
even
him.
know what's going on.
He was just saying
Like talking crap to the
Mahomes'
Chiefs.
son
it was bizarre. What
Son.
or
Yeah.
Burrow's son is Mahomes.
almost like they own.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what he needs.
I don't know
to
what he
stick
was
to.
saying.
Yeah, let's just stick to the
I
role.
don't like it.
Let's pass out newspapers in town or something,
Yeah,
bud.
Burrowhead.
Yeah.
Still Burrowhead.
Nah.
3-1.
Yeah. Huh.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do the matchups. So Hurts to Mahomes. You said Hurts. You said Mahomes. I said Hurts. Let's move on to the running backs. We got Miles Sanders against the new dude. This number 10, Tyreek Hill, freaking Jr. long hair.
Pashkashko, I
Dude,
hate him so much.
He's been on
You
fire
guys,
this
you guys
year.
better watch out.
He's
man.
good.
He's just like
Yeah, freaking
He's-
speedster. Freaking
yeah.
run it down, wear that 10 proud, and be the
My
new
gosh,
cheetah of the
he's
NFL.
so annoying.
So Sanders, Pashkachko, Pachancho, whatever.
yeah, Cheeto.
Cheeto.
That's why I say don't.
Who is the better running back in this game? Who you picking? I'll start. We'll go reverse. Here's the deal. I think Miles Sanders is really good, but he runs so west to east.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs, you need to be running north to south. He's been fixing it up a little bit this year, but I really like this Patechko, Cheeto, whatever guy. This guy's been good. And with how he's been playing the past couple games, I'm taking him. That would be my running back in this game.
I'm taking Pacheshko because I think he's the only person except Travis Kelce
That they have.
Mahomes is going to have.
Well, that's what I was
So
thinking
I think
too.
he's the X factor. Of
I
that
was going to
game.
say they only have him to
Yeah.
work with, but I was going to say I don't know him as well. Like I haven't really been paying attention to him.
Right.
And I think if our defense does what it's been doing, then hopefully
Here's another
Unless
thing,
you got
though.
Valdez Scantling.
Yeah, come on now, stop. But here's another
But he
thing.
might be
But
the-
let's
their
talk
only
about
weapon,
this.
so.
That's
Here's the
his only-
difference. You're talking about one guy. The Eagles also have
that's why.
Boston Scott, Gainwell. So that's another thing you have to put in. They have
And you
Pashkachko.
got wide receivers.
Yeah, which
and
we're
tight
about to
ends.
get to. So I take Pashkachko, or however, again,
Pashkachko.
sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I'm taking him over Sanders. But if you're talking about running back core, you have to
Then
take
you
the
gotta
Eagles.
go
The Eagles got
sure.
3 other guys.
Well, and
They
that's-
have nobody
I think-
else except
They
Andy
got
Reid.
Ronald Jones though.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Who used to be,
Man,
by the way,
once.
good, who should be playing in the NFL starting on a team.
I think that's what
Used
we
to
have
have
to
him
talk
advance.
about, because when you take one person and say who do you think is better at this moment, one person, like who would you rather have?
Yeah, well, we're just doing it
Sanders.
terribly,
I know,
but
but
see
I
what you
mean, like that's why it's hard, because I feel like our whole team overall
Is better.
in all
Oh,
facets
100%.
is ready to, is there.
Yeah,
But
here's the deal. The better
It's always gonna
offense, the
have
better
to-
team
It's the Eagles.
is the Eagles.
by far.
By far. The problem is you're
Yeah.
going against Patrick Mahomes, and anything's
he gets
possible.
all the calls.
Yeah.
Trust
Oh,
me.
yeah.
and he's going to get all he gets
We
all the
faced
credit
him
right
4
now.
times.
We won
Yeah.
the game.
I think we would have made the Super Bowl if there was no cause. So I think after those two things got issued, I think we can just go back.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, not too bad.
Because we got our O-line back then next year.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say
2 torn ACLs.
I was going to say that's the big thing also hurting.
I mean, it is timing. It is luck
we got
a little
2
bit.
starters.
It's being healthy.
Yeah, it is.
There is a lot of that.
I mean,
stuff
the
comes
thing
into
is,
play,
unlike all other sports, it ain't best of 7. It's 1 or done.
That's what makes it so stressful.
That's what makes it so stressful, so interesting.
For
And
me.
and all you got to do is the best team in the NFL. The Patriots in 07 were the best team in the NFL, could have been undefeated and won the Super Bowl. And what happens? The 8-8 Giants show up into the Super Bowl and win. All you have to be is good on that night.
Right.
I think the Bengals get the number 1 seed next year.
Think so? There's so many good teams. I think the Jags, we're going to get to the Jaguars. I think the Jags are going to be in there too. What do you mean? No?
They'll be in the playoffs.
No, I think they're going to be high up too.
What did you say? They're going to get the number 1 draft pick?
No, it's going to be number 1 seed.
No,
We're
not going to be last
I don't
place.
think how that's going to happen.
No, you ain't going to be last, but you'll be one of them. Mom, let me ask you this. Well, I wanted to save the Jags, but we already talked about the Jags, so let's talk about the Jags. What do you think the Jaguars need to do next year? They have Doug Peterson in now at coach. Trevor Lawrence has been playing out of his mind lately, starting to figure things out. Had a bad game in the playoffs, but then came all the way back. Didn't do too bad against the Chiefs. They have ETN at running back. Christian Kirk's doing well at receiver.
A wide receiver.
Well,
they need more defense.
They need more options, I think, for Lawrence.
Defense and more offense.
What do you think?
Wide receiver.
I guess the same, you know.
Yeah.
And consistency. I mean, now they'll have Doug Peterson.
Yeah, and they had it up a weird season this year.
Yeah.
1 minute they're the best team in the league, the next minute they're like
I think they
dirt.
improved, you know, for sure.
For sure. Let's move on. Riley, I'll ask you this question. What do you think that the Green Bay Packers need to do this year?
Rebuild.
So you think it's time?
Aaron Rodgers might retire or he'll go to the Jets.
Nah, he's definitely not retiring. I can tell you that.
He's going to go to the Jets then.
You think so?
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be so weird. They did say that if they trade him, he's going to an AFC team.
Isn't that what happened
God,
with
I
Brett
hate
Favre?
the Packers so bad.
They need a rebuild.
Didn't they do that
for
same
sure.
thing with Brett Favre? Like they wanted to get rid of him. Like they wanted him to see if he could go to a different team.
Yeah,
and not
they'll put him in a different conference.
And I think Love, is that what his name is?
Yeah, I think he's going to play good.
Yeah.
No, you don't think so?
I don't. Well,
I
when
do.
he played pretty dirt.
I guess.
He had like 0 touchdowns.
What are you
like
talking about?
4
No, on his first drive he scored a touchdown. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know either one. But here's the thing. I think I hate
don't
the
think
Packers
he's
so
that good.
freaking much. Lord have mercy, do I hate them. But I think Jordan Love's going to play good. But yeah, I think it's time they move on from Aaron Rodgers. Just going to be playing the same game. The Vikings are in that division for quite a bit. So
You don't think they'll rebuild?
no, I think they should.
They
That's what I do think they need to do.
And it depends on how much they got to pay Aaron Rodgers if they got to get.
Because they owe him a lot of guaranteed money.
So
They're
they're
not
not going to
keeping
do that. I don't think.
There's
They're
no
gonna,
way
some
they're gonna
definitely
keep him.
some going to be some negotiations there. I think.
Mom, what do you think you need to do with the San Francisco 49ers? At quarterback, let me start with this. You going with Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Purdy? Or
I think you go with Lance.
really?
I think Purdy's okay, but he's got this injury now that's like 6 months. It depends, like, what's Brady going to do? We're talking about all this other stuff, but speculation and maybe even Aaron Rodgers always hometown or wanted to play, you know, I don't know. But
Why, you think they might go to San Fran? Nah. I know what you're trying to say, but I don't think so. I don't think Rodgers and what's his face
Brady.
are going to.
Well, Garoppolo's getting traded.
Yeah.
I think
it'll be Lance or
Purdy.
Purdy.
But
I
who-
think Purdy.
I think it should be Purdy.
But they're gonna say Lance because he's
their franchise
a
guy.
runner and he's young. He's like 23.
But Purdy's even younger.
Is he?
Yeah, he
he
was
is
Mr. Irrelevant
23.
this year. I think it should be Purdy, and here's why.
I think
Garoppolo's
he's a better
older.
quarterback.
Garoppolo's huh?
Huh.
What'd you say?
I think Purdy's a better quarterback.
Oh, I thought you
than
said they
Lance.
need a quarterback. I'm like, they have 3 in their face right now. They
Yeah.
just need to figure out who to pick.
Yeah, they don't need more quarterbacks.
I think Garoppolo's going to go
But
because
you know
he's
what?
old.
You need a quarterback.
Yeah.
At least one.
Yeah.
You do need one. I think
Or maybe 2.
Or draft one.
Yeah,
Get another
right.
one.
They might have to.
I think that Garoppolo is going to get traded, like you said, because he's older. They have 2 young quarterbacks. When Purdy went undefeated, he went 7-0. I'm not sure if that one goes on his record or not, but regardless, he did get hurt. Dude, how are you just going to get rid of the guy? The guy never lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Purdy. They were playing good. Not that Lance is bad, but I would go with Purdy.
Yeah.
That's what I think you need to do. Maybe make some things in the coaching staff. I mean, they had D'Amico Ryan as their defensive coordinator.
Which is probably gone.
Yeah, to be a head coach. Do you think he'll be head coach of the Texans, too? Yeah, and they're probably going to get Bryce
who's
Young.
better, Garoppolo or Purdy? I think they're kind of the same level.
I think Garoppolo is really good, but he's just older. So somebody like the Panthers will take him. I don't know how much the Panthers are trying to rebuild because they don't even have that good of a draft pick this year.
Yeah.
They got Frank Wright, right?
Or the Redskins.
Commanders. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the Commanders need somebody too. They need a new coach too who knows what the heck's going on in the world.
Yeah.
When's the Super Bowl again? Just kidding.
So the Bills. What about the Buffalo Bills? Mom, what do you think the Bills need to do? They've gotten so close every year, but now they're starting to get this thing where they make it so far and then they can only go so far. Josh Allen's never even been in an AFC championship game. So what do? People are saying new coaching. I mean, they have a good running back now, Jared Cook, Dalvin Cook's brother.
Kind of like a Dallas, they get close and
I think they're always going to be that big team that never goes to the Super Bowl. I don't think Josh Allen gets a Super Bowl ring ever.
Wow. But you see, they're just like Dallas, but Dak Prescott and Josh Allen are two different guys. I mean, in my opinion. And that's why
maybe it's emotional.
Not even close to his level.
Not good.
Maybe
he gets 2 interceptions per game.
And that was who I have next. The Cowboys. I think it's time to move on from Dak, but they just paid him so much money.
I think maybe everybody wants the Bills to do well. I mean, not you, but they have very emotional.
Well, so much happened this year. Plus, they've never won a Super Bowl. Their fan base is
insane.
Top 2 in the league.
A lot of people were in the beginning of the year say, "How cool would it be to have the Eagles against the Bills?" Because of the fan base and blah blah blah.
Oh, but 2 best fan bases.
But I think maybe there's a lot more holes there than we think.
Yeah, I mean, it never. I feel like in football, it never goes
the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. And then I was gonna say last the Vikings, but I'll answer this one. We need a new defensive coordinator. Now we're getting a new defensive coordinator. We fired Ed freaking Lamester, so thank God. And that's what we need. Other than that, I think we're fine. I know what everybody says about Kirk Cousins, this, that, and the other. I know we probably won't win a Super Bowl with him, but he's not giving me reason to be like that's why we're losing.
You think you guys should draft a quarterback for a backup spot in the future?
I think we should try to trade for a Purdy or a Lance and get them so they can be in the backup. But I don't think
so. They learn from Kirk Cousins.
But Kirk Cousins is going to be our quarterback next year. He didn't do bad, so they're not. They have no
paying
reason.
Him pretty good too.
Oh yeah,
a lot. Right?
You got a bunch of jewelry.
Yeah,
on.
That ain't his.
No, it's not his, but he steals them. Definitely.
Yeah, they put it on him in the plane and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how about we keep the jewelry off and start to win some Super Bowls? Let's put some jewelry on the fingers.
Yeah.
So, no, that's what I think you need to do there. But I don't know. I think we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot that is going to be happening this week with the Pro Bowl, new Pro Bowl this year. Freaking dirt in a bag. Let's play
flag football.
I know. It's bad.
We should join it.
Seriously. I like when they do the games, though. Like the dodgeball.
Although they are going to do some skill type things.
Thursday.
It's cool that the Mannings are going to be coaching.
Is that our players aren't going to be there. Because they're preparing for the
Burrow's
Super
not going to
Bowl.
be there.
Why?
They're subbing in for Derek Carr.
Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Because Burrow just doesn't want to go in it.
Yeah.
He said.
Wait a second.
Said he's not doing it.
Derek Carr is the replacement?
Yeah.
He had a horrible season this year.
Also,
should have done Herbert or someone.
Herbert just got over surgery.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
So they
what about Josh Allen? He's in there.
And Josh Allen is in it, but then he pulled out because he's playing celebrity or golf.
Oh. So there's nobody. So this is like the worst. Huntley.
Even though he was the 4th on the list.
The Ravens quarterback?
Lamar Jackson, then.
Yeah.
Well, Lamar's
I guess he's got his.
Yeah, where do you think? So where do you think Lamar goes?
He won't even show up for a flag football game.
I think because he already declined the offer.
Right. I don't think he's.
I don't think he'll actually go. Stay.
No, I think he's going to go to the Saints. That's what I think.
Saints. Yeah.
And then are the Saints going to give up Sean Payton? They have to.
I think the Broncos are going to get Sean Payton.
Or what about Arizona?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think they have enough money for that.
Who, the Broncos?
Yeah. They don't have any money.
I know, because they spent it all on Russell Wilson.
And guess what? Whoever gets Lamar, he's going to get $300 million per year.
Yeah, I know. I think they're going to go to the playoffs this year, the Broncos. I don't know what happened this year, but Russell Wilson's a good quarterback. You don't think so? Dude,
no.
I can't wait to be right.
He's so bad.
How? What do you mean he's so bad? Russell Wilson's so bad? You think so, Mom?
Stats this
year. He had a really bad year this year.
10 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
All right, well, how about we talk about the last 5 years when he had 30 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and he was in the Super Bowl? Well, you say he's dirt. He's obviously not dirt.
He's dirt now.
This year, I know.
I think things just didn't work out like you said, because, they got that.
There's no way he comes back next year and he's dirt.
From Green Bay.
I know, Jerry Jeudy. He can never figure it out, I feel like.
Cortland Sutton. You got Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
But he got hurt.
He's young as crap, dude. He's like 19 years old.
What about Chicago?
How old is he? 21?
He's like 23.
They're saying they could trade away Fields and get a...
I know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Get rid of Justin Fields and then pick up Bryce Young or whatever, or pick up somebody in the draft and work around them because he's even younger. Justin Fields went crazy this year. You need to build a team around him. They need to draft receivers and stuff. I hope they do that though and screw it all up for the Bears.
They got Claypool and Mooney.
I know. They have nobody. Well, maybe they'll bring Alshon Jeffrey out of the nursing home and he'll come back and he'll play for them
again. What about Antonio Brown?
Who was their other receiver? It used to be Alshon Jeffrey and somebody else. Oh, Allen Robinson? Is that who it was?
Jeffrey used to be on our team.
He's dirt.
Yeah, but Alshon Jeffrey was on the Bears first.
Disappeared.
Yeah, I know, but who else? There was two. Brandon Marshall. You remember him? The receiver, Brandon Marshall, I think is his name.
From the Jets?
Number 15. He was on the Bears.
First, right?
Yeah, with Jay Cutler. And Alshon was receiver number 2 before he went to the Eagles. Brandon Marshall was good for 3 years, and then never heard of him again.
I wonder where Odell's going to sign.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't come back. He thinks that he can just come into the postseason and play. It's like it's ridiculous. Like, you need to earn your stripes, Jimmy. Just because you caught a ball with 3 fingers doesn't make you the best receiver of all time.
You know what else happened to going back to Von Miller? That was a huge blow to the Bills.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. They paid him a lot of money to come there, and then he got hurt.
ACL.
So they've definitely had some.
But he'll be back next year because he signed a 10-year contract till he's 64. So that'll work. I mean, seriously. Did he not sign like a 6-year contract with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I have other than the Cowboys. I was going to say the Cowboys, what should they do?
Dan Quinn is looking to be the head coach there.
Yeah.
That's why he's staying.
Dan Quinn's dirt. Yeah, Dan Quinn, he crushed it.
Retire.
He crushed it. He went to the Super Bowl and went to the Falcons, and they won the Super. Oh wait, no, there was 28-0. Yeah, 28-3.
He decided he was going to.
Well, Mike McCarthy's dirt. So
that's how I feel when you say about let them screw it up. That's how I feel about Dallas.
You don't care. Hopefully they just keep Dak.
Well, everybody wants to say how great Giants were this year.
Yeah,
dude, Danny Dimes, man, he's the man.
The Giants, dirt.
You think they're dirt?
Yeah.
What?
The Giants.
They have a good coach. Danny Dimes is good. Saquon Barkley,
coach of the year.
Danny Dimes is good.
You don't think he played good this year? You don't think so?
I think he played all right. Better than his
I guess they don't have a lot of. They don't
went to the divisional round.
Good this year.
Destroyed.
Yeah, well, I guess. But it's one game, dude. Like,
all right. So what do we think? Eagles going to win the Super Bowl? That would be a good place to end this.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win.
Eagles win.
I don't know. We'll see. But they got a lot of decisions to make next year.
Eagles win by 10 or 7.
Eagles have a lot of decisions to make next year?
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of money to be paying a lot of these guys. Yeah. I don't think Miles Sanders is going to be on the team next year.
It might be like the Rams.
But, Mom, I guess let's cross that bridge when we get there. Let's win the Super Bowl first, right, Mom?
Well, that's why it's important that we win, because we got all this surrounding cast.
Yeah, for sure. I think next year, when if the Eagles win or do not win, we'll see. But when maybe when the offseason's going on and the Eagles are making decisions and we're starting to creep back on, we'll have to get Mom back onto the podcast so we can talk about the next year. But hopefully they can win it this year. That's all we need to do this year is just figure it out. So this the first episode. Talk about that. What'd you think, Rye? Thought it was good. Great. Yeah. So every other Friday, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a new Talk About That podcast. So this is obviously out on Friday this week. We're filming this a little bit earlier. Next week, Talk About Podcast, our 20th episode. We'll have some news. We'll probably be breaking down UFC 284 because that Saturday is going to be the card in Perth. So go Alexander Volkanovski. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll probably do our predictions. And then we'll have a new Talk About Gameplay episode out next Thursday as well. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Leave a like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. We'll have all the clips as well. Mom, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
it's great to have Mom on the pod. We think Mom, leave comments. Let us know if Mom should start her own thing. Mom might have her own podcast, and we'll go on there. She should start her own podcast called the Philly Jacqui Special, and we'll figure it out. But no, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day, and peace.